Hello everyone, this is Peter Online Computer Network Engineering Tutorial. I'm here to teach you how to do VLAN, VTP server and client configuration, okay? VTP in a virtual LAN where you have several departments, okay? Someone requested to know more of VLAN. VLAN is a process of breaking one large network into several subnetworks, okay? By department. That's departmentally. You create several subnetworks, you know, different network, broadcast domain. Each network goes to one department. Each network goes to one department. Okay, this is creating user departmentally inside a switch. You have broken one large LAN using different IP networks. Okay, but now there's something called VTP server and client mode where you make all your configuration in a centralized switch, probably in the IT room, closet. So you configure everything here, all the VLANs here, and configure what is called VTP server and client mode. This has to be server, and every other switches in that network probably that spans several floors. Maybe this company has like 10 floors, 10-story building, and each of the um, you know height or building, each floor has up to two switches for different departments, okay, which is about 20 switches, okay, and you're on the down floor, okay. So what you need to do, you do this in this switch, about five criteria has to be met in this switch, okay. You configure this server from global configuration mode, you do this VTP mode, VTP, sorry, this is P, VTP mode, server. That's the first criteria that has to be met. You click enter, VTP domain, VTP domain name, domain name is len. I just use this name. You can use any name, len CCNA. Okay, you hit enter. VTP password from global configuration mode, VTP password. Remember, you need to put this password because if you don't put password, anybody with extra switch that connect to this main switch and create a trunk link and configure this, yeah, the VLAN information will, will be broadcasted to that switch. We go to that switch, but with password, that switch has to have this password before it can learn, any information that from this switch. Okay. So for security reasons, you create a password. Now, VTP from global configuration mode, VTP version is version 2. You hit enter. Okay, is version 2. So now you remember you are still in this VLAN, this multi-layer switch, which is the main switch server. You come this, you do this, you do interface this link. Every link that linked to each switches. Example, for instance, look at this link here, GO/2, that link to the main switch, GO/O link to switch 3, and GO/1 link to switch 2. So another GO/something may look to, you have to interface it. Let's say you do this interface range G0/02 G0/10. You hit enter. Let's say it's 10 links. Okay. You do this. You do this switch port trunk encapsulation dot 1Q. This dot 1Q is trunking protocol. Okay. That tags each VLANs. You hit enter. You now put VTP, sorry, not VTP, switch port mode. Switch port mode. Trunk. Then you save here, come back to privilege mode by putting exit where you do copy running config means configuration, startup config. You are saving it to MVRAM, startup config, so that when there's a power failure, information will not be lost. Okay, so you have created this on this VLAN. What you need to do, you go to each and every one of the access switches and make them the same configuration except server. So each and every of this VLAN, let's say this switch is go to global configuration mode and put mode, VTP mode, client, you have met one criteria, VTP domain name, you configure domain name, length CCNA, and they configure VTP password, Cisco, VTP version is 2. You need to configure this in each and every one of these. Automatically, whichever VLAN you configured here, we get to these places. We get to other switches. And remember, it can go to someone from accounting department in a, sorry, excuse me. Sorry, there was interruption. So now VTP password that he configured here has to be the same. VTP domain has to be the same, and VTP version has to be the same. The only difference there would be VTP client, server and client, which he configured here. So after that, whichever VLAN you have, you can come here and create your VLANs. You know how to create VLANs. If you don't know, please refer to the video virtual, local area network and learn how to create VLANs in the switch and how to create some interfaces in a router. Remember, this link has to be trunk also for this router to, for the VLANs, different VLANs to communicate, you must configure some interfaces in the router, okay? Remember, this red VLAN is an accounting VLAN, which can be up to 62. I assume that each department has about 62 users on each VLANs. Okay, that's how I configure this network. So whichever VLAN I configured here will be here and here. Okay, provided these criteria must be met. Okay, the same thing, configure the same thing. Whatever I configured here, do it here except server and client. This has to be server and others have to be client with the same configuration. And you create your trunk links from here because this switch spans several story buildings and someone in a down floor, let's say marketing department is in the down floor, also can get to 10th floor to connect to their domain in their VLANs. Yes, it have that flexibility. It makes it easy for, for network administrator to be in charge. And also, this is a resilient and cost-effective network infrastructure, okay, which is very scalable. Okay, it can grow. By doing this, you have ensured a resilient and cost-effective network infrastructure. Okay, so this is it. If you find this video interesting, do not hesitate to share, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.